What's up, folks? So today we're going to be reviewing the film No Escape, and this film is available September 18th, digitally and on demand. And I'm just going to give a quick disclaimer here. Now, despite what I say, this is a good, solid film. All personal feelings aside, this is a good, solid film. Just throwing that out there right now. But now let's get into the review. So when I first saw that this film was available for review, saw it being branded as brought to you by the people who's done Escape Room. So I'm like, I remember that film. Alongside of the cast that was attached to this, as far as Keegan, Holland Roden, and Denzel Whitaker. A lot of intrigue here as to why I should check this out. Come to find out, so when it came down to the correlation with the writer and director Will Wernick, I was like, okay. I thought that he did the 2019 version of Escape Room, which it starred Taylor Russell and Jay Ellis, and in fact he didn't. So I was confused about the disconnect here. Kind of find out there's 3 films called No Escape Room, and 2 2017 versions and the 2019 version, which I've seen. So the 2017 version done by Will, and then there's a 2017 version done by Peter Dukes, which I haven't seen either of those. So nonetheless, I was just a little bit confused about that, just in case you all have that same confusion, just so you're aware that, yes, there are 3 films entitled Escape Room. But yes, this film, No Escape, is... It's completely disturbing to me. I almost didn't make it through this film. I had a very hard time getting through this film because it was just so cringy at times. I was so tetrified at times. I did not think I was going to make it through it. But let me tell you what pushed me is that as the viewer, connection to the group of people trying to survive, the group of friends that came together to do this escape room, to want and the will to see them survive through this ultimately pushed me through it. And I suggest that if you start this film, completely watch it through, all the way through, because you have to see, how does this all resolve. You want to see the ending. You want to see, do they survive and how they will survive. So, if you start this film, as difficult as it was for me, get through it, because it was a challenge for me, but the ending was so well done that it's worth every bit of making it through it. And then you also want to watch the mid-credit scenes, as there's some additional footage as that too. But it's not that this recipe of escape room style films hasn't been done, because that's, it's not reinventing the wheel here. The thing for me that really got me through this film is that I just felt like that the cast did such a good job in showing their relationship with each other, and it invested me is feeling like I was a part of them, and you want to see your friends survive. And I felt like that connection ultimately made me overlook the fact that I've seen this plot, I've seen this story before, but I just want to make sure that my friends get through it. And I think that's really shows you the magic between this cast and their performances in order to really will you through this horror. And I say it in any film I review that's a horror film, is that the horror element is really deprived on the idea of, well, does the viewers connect with the cast? If you connect with the cast, then you will experience what they're experiencing, and thus that's the ultimate element of horror. And I thought they did an amazing job for that. There's other things as well too, which I'll talk about in a second, but let me just kind of break down exactly what's happening here. So Cole, who's played by Keegan, he's a social media influencer. He wants everybody to live through his life. So everything he does, he's vlogging it, everything. And he's built his brand. He's exceeded a vast number of followers and reach. And so what he does is that he invites people into his life, his adventures, because he's always looking for his next big escape, his next big adrenaline rush, because he's always just looking for something to scare him. And he always exceeds and push past the limit in his content, because quite frankly, nothing scares this guy. He's just a pure adrenaline junkie, and he's just always looking for the next big thing. Well, his friends got a surprise for him, because they are going to take him to Russia to this very, very off the grid experience of an escape room. I mean, no one knows where it's at. There's no contact for it. No one knows the location. There's no hashtags or anything that can get you to where it's at. So it's super exclusive, and it's ultimately going to be the experience that's going to take Cole's brand to the next level and possibly scare him like he's never been done before. So that's the premise of this film, which I thought was pretty cool. It is also, this film also does a couple of other things I think is important. I think it like really speaks about how social media influences our life as far as like, you know, us in America, our life, but also it kind of highlights like, I was just say like the dark web of things in Russia and that aspect. And it just shows you how influences can really, like social media influences can really change things. So, you know, you get an idea of like the obsession of social media, how and the dangers behind it as well too. So there's like an undercover, like low theme to this as well that you can tell from like the director's standpoint that they wanted to make sure that they put emphasis on. So as much as you're enjoying the film, you actually do see like how social media can play a huge part in somebody's like life or ultimately demise. So keep that in mind when you're watching this as well too. Also, I thought what was really cool, but some people may have struggles with this is that, so they go to Russia, so you know the native language is Russian. If you don't know it, because that's not a vast popular language that people seek to know, you kind of don't know what they're saying. Well, without no subtitles, that also adds another layer of mistake, because there's no subtitles to every character who speaks the native language of Russia while they're in Russia. So you're wondering like what's happening, what are they thinking, and like it ultimately again puts you into the shoes of the survivors in this situation that you just wonder like, oh my god, what are they thinking, what are they going to do, do they know that are they plotting? Like a lot of things run through your mind, and I think that is genius. But some people may not get with it because they really want to know what they're being saying, because it's taken away from the movie experience. But as the viewer's experience in this, experience is the word I'm using here, it really adds to it. It really adds to the horror element here. So I think it's a very interesting thing that they did. I'm definitely curious to know what are going to be people's response to it. But nonetheless, when you start this film, just please get through to it, because you ultimately need to know, how does this resolve? What is the ending? You know, will they survive? You have to watch it all the way through it. And as hard as it was for me, I'm telling you to stick with it and get through it, because overall it's a solid film. It's very, very thrilling. It is scary. It's a lot of blood and violence and everything. You just stick through it for real. And you also want to make sure you check out the mid-credit scene as additional footage was in that as well too. But yes, No Escape is available September 18th on demand and digitally. As always, once you check it out, let me know in the comments what you think, and until then, I'll catch you soon.